Hello YouTube, welcome back to the low-key channel, Infomism Worldwide, and I'm joined by
Alex.
100%. Alex is an animator. He's lived in Colombia.
Yeah.
And the topic for today is dating in Colombia versus dating in Japan. So I think that's a very interesting topic. Maybe we can find common areas, we can find differences.
Colombia is better.
Oh wow. Let us know what you think below. You can answer in the comments. And one of the reasons I really wanted to do this video is AMS and Master Teacher are having a very heated conversation about it. And I really want to share just different opinions. And please comment below and share your opinions. And you had some very good points we talked about before starting. What was one of the first points?
The first point is pretty simple. Dating in Colombia, you need to know Spanish.
Español. Oh wow.
Sí.
Oh wow.
Claro.
How do you recommend somebody goes from scratch, from zero, to actually getting conversationally good?
Well, when I was there, as a non-Spanish speaker, I found Tinder was pretty helpful.
Okay.
Yeah. And from there, you can like text them, use Google Translate, and they're pretty open to teaching you Spanish as you text.
Okay. So you're using Google Translate and Tinder? Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Google Translate, copy, paste, he sends the text,
Oh wow.
copy it, paste it on Google Translate, go back.
You were never worried about sounding like maybe a robot? Sometimes Google Translates translation is
a bit, especially when it comes to slang, but once you explain you don't know much Spanish, poquito, and she's fine about that.
Okay. Now, in comparison, in Japan, you need to learn Japanese, Nihongo, and Google Translate often gets the translation wrong. Sometimes the cultural meaning is a bit wrong, and the level of respect sometimes comes out a bit awkward. I do recommend there's a chat app called Line, and Line has a translation option. I highly recommend that, or having a friend who speaks Japanese to help you write messages. And often in Japanese you can't be too direct. When you speak to someone, you don't often say you did this, you come here, you. A lot of the time the meaning is always a bit indirect, and it's never no's or yeses. And a lot of the time with Japanese women, maybe means no, yes means maybe, and no means hell no. No means you're going to jail very soon.
And then do you have moments where a word means many things?
Yes. A common one for me is the word fine. So in Nihongo it would be daijobu. So sometimes you can ask your potential date, hey, do you want to hang out and have drinks? And she might say daijobu. And you might mean, does that mean I'm fine, no thank you? Or I'm fine with that plan, let's do it. A lot of the time, even me too, I used to get very confused by that. What do you mean? Fine, yes, or fine, no, or fine, I'm thinking about it. So in Colombia, was that similar?
Not that I can remember, but there are many words that share the same meaning or slang. Trying to think if I could say it, yeah. Let's see. No, right now I can't.
Okay.
I can't think of anything.
No worries. So maybe from the beginning, what made you choose Colombia in the beginning? From before even deciding to apply, you were like, what caught your interest?
Growing up, I've always had an inkling, a feeling of wanting to discover, and Latin America came to mind, and I was thinking, okay, Latin America, which countries? So I did my research: Argentina, Peru, Chile, Ecuador, and then Colombia. And then I was feeling with the music, listening to reggaeton, and the dance, the acting, and everything, telenovelas. And I thought, okay, Colombia is good. And top it all, the women are really amazing.
Oh wow. I can agree to that as well. That for me as well, choosing Japan, the media around Japan really influenced my opinion. I've heard a lot of positive testimonials, and for a long time I'd consumed a lot of TV shows of all types. But I'll say when I saw a lot of YouTubers who had been to Japan and seen the real raw day-to-day life, I thought, you know what, this is something I would like to try, and it looks quite interesting. And having gone there, comparing it to the media only just scratches the surface of how much stuff you'll be doing. So, especially Tokyo, if you're in Tokyo, 2 weeks is not enough. A year is not enough. It's the type of place where you could find something new every single day. If you lived there for 10 years, you could always find something new that you had not seen before.
Now, what activities do they do there? Like, if you're taking a girl on a date, what are we going to do?
Okay, so everywhere in the world, I've never come across a country where the man does not lead. So usually the man has to decide on the date. The typical type of date I like to do is to not invest too much money or too much time too soon. So usually something very simple for the first date. A walk in the park, getting maybe coffee or tea, small, or maybe there's a very popular bar franchise called The Hub. It's like an English themed pub, and a lot of the people who are interested in foreigners go there. And if you're on a date and you're like, hey, let's go to The Hub, usually it's like, sure. The drink prices are decent. You can get a point card, and I used to get crazy points on that point card because I'd go with other friends and we'd all use my point card, and then you get free drinks. So Hub or a walk in the park is what I recommend for the first date. Second date, as things are getting more interesting, you can now maybe go see a show. There are a lot of very interesting shows constantly happening. There's one that a lot of people are showing on the internet. It's called Team Lab Borderless, where they take projectors, and there are projectors all around the venue, and they've been mapped to make sort of like holograms that you can interact with. So you can sort of travel to like a fantasy world. That's nice. There's also the Yayoi Museum. She's the famous Japanese artist who used pumpkins and dots, Yayoi Kusama. And her museum, if you can get a ticket, so planning ahead shows that, Yayoi Kusama Museum, gorgeous museum. And I also really recommend the Ghibli Museum. I go to a lot of museums, so most of my dates, museums or art shows, because that way, if the date is going terribly, at least you saw good artwork. You don't have to talk a lot, because again, you explore together and you lead. And I think a lot of Japanese women, what they look for is a guy who can assert and lead. Because if she has to lead, she doesn't want a little baby to be taking around. And if you don't speak Japanese, there are ways to sort of compensate for that. You don't have to. Don't try play it the way a Japanese guy plays it, because you're not a Japanese guy. It's not going to work.
Cool. Good to know. In Colombia, unfortunately, when I went there, it was just before quarantine, so I didn't get to experience the first date. Where can we go? It was have to meet at the supermarket. Okay. That's how I actually met my friend there. We planned to go to meet at the supermarket, because then you're allowed to go to the supermarket. And that's where we met.
Wow.
That
So
was the first day
like
there.
groceries?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We bought noodles.
Oh, wow. What sort of hobbies did she like to do that were...
She liked to sing.
Okay.
Play the guitar. So they're really into music, dance, salsa, bachata.
Oh, wow.
And she is from near the coast, so they're really into dancing. Not sure what you call the dance again.
Salsa?
No. It was different from salsa.
Okay, not salsa, not bachata. Reggaeton?
No. Reggaeton is more music, so it's not really dance.
Okay.
I'll remember.
Okay, will come. I can think Japan has a similarity to that. Karaoke, the karaoke bar is very, very popular. I never went to one because I can't sing. but I know a lot of people love the karaoke date, so you can actually
Yeah,
rent
there's
a...
also
Oh,
karaoke in Colombia.
Oh wow, how are the prices?
Uh, I went for free.
Oh, nice.
I went for free.
Nice. In Japan, you actually get a private room. You rent it for like an hour. There are cameras in there, so yeah, guys, be aware. Be aware. And it's also like it's got an open screen that looks out onto the city, so people from this on the street can see what's going on. So again, please, guys, don't take any, don't do any stunts. And karaoke is popular. There. Some people, maybe third date in, when things are getting hectic, some people like to go to the bathhouse, and you can sometimes get a co-ed bathhouse, but those are far off in like Inaka, the rural areas. So that is an option. A lot of people like to go to the spa, you vibe out, you chill. The day trips, if you go, so outside of Tokyo, you need to go to maybe Gunma prefecture, like far away, like the rural areas, where again you go to a ryokan Japanese style hotel, you get the yukata, and really, you know, the prices for that are really good, and the Japanese tourism organizations are putting a lot of effort to make those trips more accessible. So I highly also recommend that. Did you ever do a day trip in Colombia?
Yes,
Okay.
I went to the amusement park,
Oh.
and it was a good experience when things started to open up.
Oh.
And yeah, it was amazing.
Wow. 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 Okay.
We went karting.
Go-karting.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I once heard that when go-karting, especially if you're a lady and you've got very long hair, you always have to make sure your date's hair is tied up and no scarves, because sometimes the wheels can pull on the hair and then...
No,
yeah.
they give you like a collar,
Okay.
and then you put that on,
Okay.
and you'll be fine.
That's always my fear, taking a date go-karting. Like, oh
And
no,
it goes all around.
I don't want it to get sculpted. Okay, excellent. So you mentioned using Tinder, and the difference with Japan that I found is Tinder was not happening for me. And I did have a friend who did quite well on Tinder, but he had the sort of look that would do well on Tinder. But for me personally, Tinder was a complete flop. And the other apps I can recommend instead, Hello Talk, which is it's for learning different languages, but somehow turns into a dating app. Hello Talk, and another very popular one, Meetup.com. You need to go on like hiking trips and interact with people with very similar hobbies. And a lot of the ones with a lot of foreigners are usually the ones with Japanese people who are looking for foreigners. So I also really recommend Meetup.com.